who would like to at the very end of the show. Now, before we get into all the fun stuff, I do have to go over a few very important park rules for y'all. I do apologize if you've already heard them. We do have to go over them before every single show here. So rule number one in the park, we just can't have any children sitting on your shoulders or hanging over any of the railings in the park today. That's just for y'all's safety. We wouldn't want anyone bumping into you and someone going overboard for obvious reasons. Rule number two, there's absolutely no running in the park today. Again, for your safety, but this is also very important in front of our large mammals that we have, such as our hyenas back here and our mountain lions. These guys do have a predator-prey response. So if you see them running back and forth with you, they are not trying to play with you guys. They are actually trying to hunt you. And it can become very, very stressful for them since they cannot actually get to you. And then they might take that out on each other and cause harm to one another, and we definitely don't want that. We want to keep them nice and calm, especially on this really hot day. So again, please no running, jumping around, trying to get them all riled up. And that does lead into my third rule for y'all today. This is all of these animals' full-time homes or habitat. So we just ask that you treat it with respect. Please don't try to touch, feed, or harass any of the animals today. Thumbs up that we understand these rules and we're going to be rule followers. Awesome. And I will be right back with my first animal for you guys.
Another snake.
Oh guys, we got a snake coming out.
All right. So this is my good friend Pepperjack. Can everybody say hi, Pepperjack? Awesome. Well, Pepperjack here is a ball python. So ball pythons are native to West and Central Africa, so you won't find them anywhere native around here. Now, they are actually the most common pet snake here in the United States. So you guys might know some people that do have some pet ball pythons. Now they get their name ball python from their protective mechanism of forming an extremely tight ball to escape their predators. Now out in the wild, they will typically be found in burrows or underground. That is where they like to spend most of their time. Now Pepperjack here is about 4 feet long, but they can actually get up to about 5 feet long, with the females actually typically being larger than the males. Now Pepperjack here is about 7 years old. So out in the wild, that would actually be pretty old, as they typically only live to be about 10 years old out in the wild. Now here in captivity, that lifespan does double up to 20 years. So Pepperjack does have a long life left ahead of him here in captivity. Now Pepperjack's a carnivore. Does anybody know what he might eat?
Mice.
Mice? Anything else?
Rats.
Rats? Yeah. So his diet is going to consist mainly of smaller rodents, so rats and mice. Now Pepperjack here is a constrictor, so all that means is to subdue his prey. He's going to squeeze onto that mouse or rat really, really tight until it dies, and he's going to swallow it whole. Now many people think what he's doing here is trying to suffocate that rat or mouse, but that is actually incorrect. He is actually constricting its blood flow until the rat or mouse has a heart attack and dies, and then he will swallow it whole. Now if y'all look, he doesn't have that big of a head, so you might wonder how is he able to do this. Well, snakes are able to unhinge their lower jaw almost a complete 180 degrees. So Pepperjack here can actually consume anything that is twice the size of the largest part of his body. So his midsection here, he can eat anything that is double that size. Now unlike you and I, who probably need to eat about 3 times a day or we'll get pretty hangry, Pepperjack here actually only really needs to eat about once every other week or so. And that's just because they do have a lot slower digestive system than us. It takes him at least 4 days to digest his food. Now as I walk around, you're going to notice that he's probably sticking his tongue out at you guys. Does anybody know what he's doing there? Smelling, that's correct. So snakes have something called Jacobson's organ that allow them to smell through their tongues. So all he's doing is gathering up all the scents around him, and he's going to bring it back into his mouth, where he's going to touch the roof of his mouth where that Jacobson's organ is, and it's just going to send the signal to his brain to tell him what is around him. Now, luckily for us, I don't think anybody here smells like rats or mice today, because that would be a little weird. So Pepperjack actually wants nothing to do with any of us today. Now, he does still have a nose like you and I. You guys up front might be able to see it as I walk by. But it is only used for breathing. It is not used for smelling. Now, snakes actually don't have that great of eyesight, so it is very important for them to rely on their other senses, such as this sense of smell. Now, you guys up front might be able to notice that he also has some little dots around his mouth right under his nose. So these are called heat pits, and they're another way that he's going to be able to use his senses to detect his prey. So all they are for is detecting temperature around him to help him hunt. Now, many people think that snakes are really slimy animals, but this is actually incorrect. They are actually extremely soft, and that's just because their scales are made of keratin, just like our hair and our fingernails. Now, anybody who is familiar with ball pythons might notice that he looks a little different, as the typical ball python is going to be coloration of brown. So, Pepperjack is a little special. He is considered a banana-morph ball python, and that's just because of his pretty coloration that he has here. And they consider it a banana morph because they say if you cut a banana in half, this is what it looks like. Now I will go ahead and take any questions that you guys might have about Pepperjack. Go ahead and raise your hand if you have a question for me. Yes. Is he venomous? That's a really good question. So Pepperjack here is not a venomous snake, and I would not be holding him if he was. So he does not have the typical fangs that you would think of with a venomous snake. He does still have teeth, but he does not use them for chewing his food like you and I. He only really uses it to hold on to his prey if he needs to. Yes. How old is he? He's about 7 years old. Does he what? Yeah, his teeth are still pretty sharp. Does he need to drink water? Yes, he does. He drinks water just like every other animal. Yes. What was it? How long is he? He's about 4 feet long. Yeah. I can't hear. What was it? Can y'all help me out back there? I can't hear. How long does it take to suffocate the rats? So he's not suffocating the rats and mice. He's constricting their blood flow until they have a heart attack. And I believe it only takes a few minutes. How do I know what snake it is? Well, I was told what snake he was. How many feet is he? He's about 4 feet, but he doesn't have any feet. Yeah. How long have we had him? So he has been in captivity his entire life. So he's been here longer than I have. Where does he live? Like out in the wild or here? Out in the wild. So he's native to West and Central Africa, so not in the United States, and he'll typically be in burrows or underground in the forest. I wasn't here when they got Pepperjack. She asked where did we first find him, but he was born in captivity. What color are his eyes? So he just has dark colored eyes. They don't have a specific like blue or green. They're just dark. Do snakes need enrichment in their enclosure? I'm not going to say a yes or no answer to that because I think it's good to like change things up for all animals. But snakes, if you change their environment too much, it can stress them out a lot. So they really just need something that resembles what they would have out in the wild. Is it true that pythons never stop growing? I would say that is not true. So these guys, he's done. Like, he's not going to get any bigger. He is fully mature, fully grown. He's not going to be getting any bigger. And the ball pythons will only really get up to about 5 feet long. Yeah. They live where? In Florida? So they are not native to Florida. If people let their pet snakes out, then I'm sure that that's how they were found there. But they are not native to Florida. Could he kill one of us? Could he constrict one of us? So if Pepperjack were to squeeze around my neck, he would not be doing it hard enough where I would not be able to get him off of me. He is not a big enough snake for that. He is extremely strong though, but I'm just a little bit stronger. Can he hear? Yes, snakes do have hearing. How often does he shed his skin? So Pepperjack here is going to shed his skin about once a month. All right, I'm going to take a few more questions before we move on to our next animal. Can snakes sweat? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to say no. Don't quote me on that one. I've never been asked that before. How long do they usually live? So out in the wild, he would really only live to be about 10 years old. So if he was in the wild, he would only have about 3 more years left. But here in captivity, he can live up to 20 years.
Thank you.
About how much do they weigh? I'd say he's only a few pounds. Yeah, he's not more than 5 pounds. All right, you guys, I am going to go ahead and move on with my next animal. But if y'all have more questions about Pepperjack, I can answer them at the end of the show for y'all. But I am going to move on to get my next animal. Can everybody say bye, Pepperjack?